I got a bee to land on my finger. You see this? You see this? Oh, it left. That was so cool. That was really so cool. It's still flying around my head if you don't see. I made friends with a bee. Look, it's here again. Now, nature's always teaching me amazing things. It took me a second to realize how overstimulated my mind is, to the fact that even when the bee landed on my hand, I was so caught up in my thoughts, not of concern, but of just like thoughts in general, that I wasn't able to really enjoy that bee. And it landed on my hand. That was like probably the third time. First time, landed, flew away. Second time, landed and stayed. Third time, it landed on the phone. I got to crawl on my finger, and I'm gonna see if I can do it again. Hey, Mr. Bee friend, try to mess with me again? But anyway, the point is that I realized that, and I've learned so much from nature, that today I miss out on so many of the small things, so many of the amazing moments, just because I'm overstimulated. And to be able to feel the bee slowly crawling on my finger, to understand what a bee is and how intellectually advanced they are and just gorgeous. And the fact that in this moment today, as I'm filming this video, a bee landed on my finger, I'm shook. And this is now the fourth time I've gotten it to land on me. This is crazy. And you know, I like to talk about presence and present moment a lot, and I'm gonna just let him do what he does so I can focus on you guys. But did he land on the phone again? You know, he really likes this tripod setup. He probably has appreciation for technology. But point being, there's so much unconscious overstimulation that's going on, whether it be sensory environment, you know, all your five senses just on overload all day. There's truck honking in the background somewhere over there that I didn't even notice until just now, but if I look back in the video, it's probably going the whole time. You know, there's so much that I could try to even enjoy that bee right there and still not be able to be immersed fully in my environment. You know, I was like, oh, the bee, it's lit. But my brain was just on overdrive, whether it be thoughts of enjoying the bee, thoughts of what I did earlier today, what I need to do, thoughts from, you know, what's that sound in the background? It sounds muffled, but then when I pay attention, I can tell it's a horn. The birds that were like, almost like an air conditioner, and how it goes off, and neighbor's air conditioner, I can hear it going off too. Look, there's so many examples of things that have been going on consistently since I started this video. Mesmerized by the bee. Oh, I'm like oh, come on, land on my hand for the cam. Come on, bro. I know you understand English if you're collaborating this much. Anyway, the point is that there's so much going on. Oh yeah, I'm a bee whisperer. Peter the bee whisperer. Check it. I got him to land on my hand again. This guy just loves me. Oh, his doing that thing, eating a finger, doing finger things. Now my friend the bee is gone. That was an amazing journey. I think he was still somewhere nearby, he or she or it. That was a beautiful experience right there. A very humbling, very grounding experience in the present moment. As you can see, when I tried starting to do the video with the bee around, I was very overstimulated. I was catching myself in thought. I was catching myself dwelling, just absorbed by, you know, my surroundings and the environment. Now I feel it was a very deepening of a deepening experience of presence, as I took time to breathe, to not judge the bee, not to even think of it as a bee, but to just experience the sensation of it walking across my hand, how it reacted when I changed elevations, when I tried to bring it to the flowers, and just treating it like it was its own individual, not even part of a beehive or bee knowledge that I have prior. And I even pulled up on the Google Lens, shout out Google Lens, just to verify that it wasn't like a fly that was, I don't know, doing fly things, but a bee. Sorry, I sacrificed getting eaten by so many mosquitoes just to enjoy filming that bee. And even then, like when the mosquito would bite me, I wasn't in resistance. I was just like, okay, I'm gonna let this happen. I can't be swatting mosquitoes away, killing them. You know, I gotta chill if I want to keep the bee around. And while the bee was here, I'd say it was definitely worth getting bitten by mosquitoes. But just to think, those horns were going off in the beginning. I've been paying attention to them now. The sound of the birds as cars drive by on the street. The feel of the ground under my feet, the clothing as it hangs on my body, just the scent of what the outdoor air smells like with the after it having rained yesterday, but being dry now. The enjoyment for the aesthetic of just the environment as a whole was multiplied as I took a moment for myself to obviously enjoy the rare fact that a bee was trying to make friends with me, just kissing my hands with its mouth orifice piece, eating or doing whatever it was doing. But it was a really cool experience, and I think that, you know, it's a good reminder of unconscious overstimulation and how throughout your day most likely getting hit so many different ways by stimulus that are around. I feel like I'm almost like the heightened senses of a hunter right now. And that's probably the thing. Like back in the day, people were probably way more present to the moment, way more focused, just because that's how they survived, that's how they lived, how they thrived in nature. They didn't live in houses, these weird boxes, and spend most of their time indoors or in cars. They were one with their environment, you know. Yeah, this has been a lit experience. But I'm gonna do this more frequently, of taking time to enjoy the little things like these flowers here. Why is it that my eye for aesthetic in nature is taken away and watered down by things like social conditioning? And take for example, you know, you had that bee, and I was at first, oh no, you're a fly. I'm gonna swerve you, Mr. Fly. Get away. At first I was shooketh. I was like, whoa, bee, what do I do? It's cool, it's staying, come back, I want to make friends with you. And I was caught up in the chase of the stimulus. And at the same time, external stimulus was hitting me, and internal thoughts were just consistently going. Now, take for example this flower right here that has not opened yet. Look at that. Amazing, gorgeous. This flower right here opened, gorgeous as well. But I oftentimes find myself comparing things and knowing what, say, the flower's final form is. The whole time that this collective was not blooming, I was like, I wonder what it was. And watching the phases of it grow from just being this these lower leaves to then seeing the central stems come out, and then now seeing the buds, and then the fully flowered blossom, I believe. I waited. I waited to view this as a prestigious, rare, exotic plant until it fully came open. And then I caught myself, just like I was able to now, even in a shorter period of time, catch myself and realize I'm judging. I have these shades on, these filters of how I view life, whether it be through the unconscious overstimulation, and it's just like so much stimulus. I have to look through these shades with so much stimulus being filtered through, and now I'm judging things in my environment. I'm not enjoying the present moment. I'm not enjoying the matter, the light from the sun. Gorgeous, beautiful day out today. How am I not valuing the sun? How am I not valuing the sky, the clouds? How astoundingly rare it is to be able to have a day like this. This is the only time this day will ever be like this, ever, because it's today. It's the moment. YOLO, take that for example. Why am I waiting to feel like I'm living my best life ever? Why am I waiting for something rare like a bee to land on my hand? Why am I waiting for, I don't know, flowers to, you know, bloom and blossom? Why am I waiting to take a minute to enjoy the sounds around me, to enjoy the sky and how amazing it looks today? You know, there's so many aspects of the environment that get taken for granted when you're stuck in unconscious overstimulation. Say you're meeting a new guy, really ideal for your standards, his bae already. You just saw him. Maybe you built some rapport. You saw his posts on the gram. Built a little comfort, a little sense of knowing him. But why aren't you not using the judgments from those filters, which could be a misperception, and really taking him in moment for moment who he is? And not to say that everybody goes around judging people, but that's an example. A lot of times I won't enjoy an engagement with someone who I know for a long time as much, because I have all these preconceived data points that I've used as check marks. Like, check, oh, he's really hot. Check, oh, he does cool stuff. Check, oh, I don't know, he has cool friends. And then you have that built up, and it might be a good reference, but at the same time, it takes away from your enjoyment of the now. Over time, people evolve, people change. Granted, at the cellular level, cells die, new cells are born, the body regenerates, changes. So fundamentally, every time you're talking to this guy, he's a different person. Oh, is the bee back? Hey! Every time you're talking to a different person. So I try to treat things now as different, as unique. Like the bee, for example. I was like, although I can identify this as what I know a bee to be, I'm just going to say, wow, this exotic insect landed on my hand. I'm going to savor this moment. Enjoy it. These flowers, I'm going to savor these flowers. I'm going to really enjoy them. The sky, I'm going to savor the sky. I'm going to really enjoy it for what it is now, because technically it's not going to be the same. And I feel like maybe there's room for growth with relationships with people as you develop them, to every time you view them as a completely different person. Because why would you want to put a filter of judgment up? Say you're meeting with the homegirls, and you're like, oh my gosh, my girlfriend, oh, I've been waiting to see her for forever. And you run up, you see her. Don't attack her with all that energy. And I mean attack in the most non-combative way possible. Like, think of them and your energy and their energy. Obviously, you want to be surrounding yourself with people who are like minded. But say you're coming in hot, you're like, oh, I'm so excited, it's gonna be the greatest day ever. And then all of a sudden, they're not at that level. Or even if they are at that level, you're now putting up the frame that they have to be perceived as this person, high energy, high tier in your eyes. And the less, not, and I say energy just as like a form of expression towards the person. But say you're seeing your homegirl, you've been planning this event, you're linking up, it's going to be lit, and then you, instead of attacking her, give her the space to be unjudged, just her as the best way she can be. And then you're chilling, you're like, hey girl, what's up? She's like, yo girl, what's up? You're almost neutral. And then from there, depending on what form of version she is from the past time that you got a chance to experience time with them, you're now giving them the room to be that person and not have to fall into the frame of the past version of them that they knew. Let's take another example, of how unconscious overstimulation can hit you. Now, in both those examples, whether it be the hot guy or linking up with one of your homegirls who you haven't seen in a while, girls' night out, in both times, the environment around you. Are you taking in the environment as you are taking in them? When you see that guy and you're like, yo, he's fine, are you really just focused on him, overstimulated by the thoughts that are running your interpretation of the interaction? Or are you, enjoying the way the light is cascading down and, hitting the area that he's standing in? Are you really taking in the sensation of your environment? Because that day is only going to be that day one time. You're going to get this experience once, moment to moment, obviously. It'll change even within that if you want to take it down smaller scale than the day. But, enjoy the fullness of life's experience, because, you're only going to experience this day in the life of you once. And, YOLO, I haven't heard someone say in a long time. And are you really embodying? And it's one thing to be like, yeah, I live life to the fullest, I'm me, I'm a rock star, I'm a do me. if I were to tragically not be here tomorrow, I want to say I had my best day today. But are you really embodying that? Are you really believing that? Are you really living that moment to moment? It's one thing to, have a moment where you're like, I got to make a decision. What am I going to do? And then, the heat of the moment, the spontaneity, kicks you into a YOLO, you only live once type mentality where you want to take action. Like, all right, can I do this? Yes, I'm going to do it. And you go for it. But with the small things, like meeting a hot guy, hanging out with the girls night out, enjoying the aesthetic of your environment, are you really, really, really embodying like, oh, I'm only going to live once? If I were to not be here 2 hours from now, will I have been satisfied with what I did for the past 2 hours? And it's really tough because you got to really hold yourselves accountable. And social conditioning has watered down your accountability through just making things perceived as it's okay to settle. Things aren't great, it's okay, they'll get better. You'll make it there. You can settle for now. But a lot of people, get comfortable with settling, and then they just dwell and live in a state of having settled for things. And it's always heartbreaking to see that when, a goddess who has so much potential settles for a chode in a relationship when she should really be, striving to not have weird orbiters around her. And I'm not saying to, disown people who you've built relationships with, but, to take the example of you are most like the 5 people you surround yourself with. Are the people in your life who are males, really that good? Are they driven? Are they giving you value? Are you in a engagement where you can grow and flourish? Or are they clingy? Are they jealous? Are they stifling? Are they poison dripping? I hope none of those, and that you curate your circles to only have great people who you choose to invest your time in. But say, for example, you've settled. Maybe you need to check, look back and be like, oh, who's here with me? How are they helping me grow? And sometimes, it takes stepping away from those people, spending less time with them. There's so much stimulation coming from them, especially if you hold them in your people who you engage with frequently. You're not only dealing with the overstimulation and social conditioning of your life, but they rub off on you, their habits, their mindsets, and if you have a chode around you a lot, it's not going to do you much good. And even then, if you are your own individual and you've separated yourself, and hopefully you're not in a codependent relationship or anything where they're relying on you and draining from you, that that extra overstimulation won't skew your view of the day. But a lot of times settling for someone like that can put a damper on a lot more than just the day. Having to consistently deal with that, it takes away from all that you can enjoy just in your own life. So check for a blind spot where you may be harboring people who aren't really doing you that good and not really, helping you to thrive, and instead causing you to settle and or cope, and taking away from your enjoyment of the present moment and your environment, so that way you can properly YOLO your way to success. All right, so talked about a lot. Talked about presence, enjoying every aspect of your surroundings and being able to really, take that into a deeper state of enjoyment and not being overstimulated by whether it be internal thoughts or just the amount of external things that are going on. Really being aware, being conscious, being at one with your environment so that you can really live your best life. You're only going to live once. You're only going to live this moment once. And, building the habits of really taking in your environment, really getting present, really getting grounded, getting out of your head, builds a track record that you can then live more of your life present, more of your life conscious. It's like training a muscle in the gym. You can read about all the exercise, watch all the tutorials, even go to the gym, but until you actually start exercising, whether it be in a gym, whether it be at home, whether it be, I don't know, throughout your life. If you don't keep up that consistency, then you won't build and strengthen that habit. And your default state is to settle. Socially, society, social conditioning has watered down your life's experience to make you think that you can settle, and that, you being, having ambitions is good. It's not like they're trying to stifle your ambitions in some ways, but overall, the settling factor, where your ambitions seem far, it takes time. You get lost in the long journey when, the short journey, moment to moment, is where you're actually at, where you're experiencing it. The habit of, I'll only be happy when I get to here is a great way to just water down your enjoyment of the now. And whether it be a bee landing on your hand, some flowers, the sky, hanging out with a really hot guy, linking up, having a girls' night out. There's so many things that are happening that you can experience that get watered down by the habit of you not training your muscles, of silencing your brain, getting out of thought, getting out of your head, so you can really enjoy your life. And I only want to see you be able to enjoy the fullest, greatest experience, where you're YOLOing every second of every day, every millisecond, every moment. You're just like, I'm one with me and my purpose as I take this step, do this thing, and I'm going to enjoy it. And I really hope that for you. Don't let the social condition get to you. Train yourself to catch those blind spots that you have, where you may be, surrounding yourself with people who aren't worthy of your time, aren't a positive influence on your life, aren't helping you to thrive, and instead sending you into even more of a state of settling by, them relying on you for state, for energy, for, validation. You should be surrounding yourself with only things that will build you up, not saying, oh yes, like a bunch of yes men who are like, oh yeah, you're great, you're awesome, just validating you, but more so people who, are on equal paths with you in growth. It's always good to have people who are on a more highly sought after path than you in growth as well. But try to limit the people who are of stagnation, who are settling, so that way you don't, have that social conditioning of your inner circle settling for less. And when you go and you meet with people, your homegirls, your girls' night out, when you do see them, you're kicking it, don't attack them with all that energy. Don't be another form of overstimulation on them. Give them the space to be that natural, organic version of them. Admire them for who they are in that moment, and then go from there. A place where you're not wearing those shades of social condition filter of your past experiences and what you're eager to tell them. Give some space for things to happen organically instead of forcing things on them, and hopefully they'll do the same for you. And all in all, with the presence, the overstimulation, the social conditioning, the checking your blind spots, all of that is in hopes that every moment of every day you can live your best life. Feel like you have the tools to be able to navigate. You have the motivation and the drive to actually train these skills so that they can be embodied and part of you as you go through every single day. There's no reason why you should wait, no reason why you should settle. It's within you now. It's always been there, and it always will be there. It just takes you calling upon it, getting out of your head, so that way you can really enjoy the fullness of what you have around you. Life is awesome. It's beautiful. There's so much abundance, but a lot of times it gets stifled, it gets watered down and blocked out by everything that's around. And I really hope that you take the time to level up those skills and, want the best for yourself. And if you don't, then hey, I'm not trying to tell you how to live life. I just, through having a bee land on my finger today and try to be my friend, realize that I have my own blind spots of ways that I don't value my environment, that I'm not present, I'm stuck in my head. And I hope that you won't fall into those same traps, and that you'll really enjoy today and every day, down to the moment as you're here on a pedestal, raising yourself up ever higher and higher and higher until you achieve all your goals. But along the way, enjoy the process and enjoy the little things as much as possible to just, retrain your brain out of that social conditioning so that your new baseline is a deeper state of enjoyment for the now.